Hi guys, Brain here, and welcome to another commentary video. Sorry, today we're not going to be talking about Chucky because I always like to sit a full day on a new chapter release before I start giving thoughts on it. I think anything less than doing that is like a very like premature analysis of whatever is happening. Obviously, something that hasn't been out for 24 hours, how can you know how you feel about it? So that video about my reaction to the Chucky release and all that is coming out tomorrow. So today we're going to be having a normal commentary video, and today we're going to be talking about something I think that I have identified as something that is one of the main pain points and why a lot of people don't end up enjoying Dead by Daylight. And it's something I've gathered just from like what people have talked to me in chat, what I've seen people talk about in different chats, what you guys have talked to me on the YouTube, on Twitter, all these places. I've seen that one of the main things that seems to upset people when playing Dead by Daylight is obtaining victory, and how things that stop you from obtaining victory become extreme pain points. But I kind of want to talk about how, especially in a game like Dead by Daylight, victory being your only objective is probably not the best. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So this is something that we've brought up on the channel before. We've talked about like win rate and how much people win, whether it be on the survivor side or the killer side. We've brought up before on this channel, both the Twitch and the YouTube, that my win rate usually hovers between the high 80 percentile and the upper 90 percentile. And this is not just for me. This is a lot of people that have a lot of hours in the game and stream the game, as this is usually where their win rate hovers. I know that for people outside of people that like stream the game or make daily content for the game, people that, you know, grind the game nonstop, win rates usually hover around like 60 or 70%. And here's the deal. That 60 or 70 percentile is more realistic. That is more realistic for what you should be experiencing. If you are moderately good at the game, you should be winning a moderate amount of time. And I would say even so, like you know, content creators and stuff like that play the game nonstop, having that 80-90% win rate is actually completely ridiculous. I don't think there should be a scenario in games where like you should be winning 80 to 90% of the time, because when we talk about like, you know, good game balance and good game health, there needs to be a lot of interactivity and there needs to be a lot of skill expression on both sides, not just the one side. So if I'm, you know, supposedly, you know, I constantly should be facing people that are of higher caliber, but people who are better players, I shouldn't theoretically be winning 80 or 90% of the time. And I think it's funny because this is something you've probably seen on a lot of like DBD killer streamers streams that only play killer, and that's the only thing they do is like, you know, high MMR monster, like I'm only facing the top tier survivors, and they're still winning like 80 or 90% of their games. But the deal is, if they're really like top tier survivors and they're actually like really good at the game, realistically you wouldn't be winning 80 or 90% of your games. That's why ultimately, even though it's, you know, has some frustrating aspects to it, especially for people that grind the game all the time or like content creators, having the soft cap be more restrictive is actually a good thing, because it's going to make it more often that you run into people who are actually of your caliber, instead of just kind of like, you know, pretending and saying that you are always running into the top tier survivors just because your MMR is high. You know, a lot of streamers do that, huh? So you're actually going to see your win rate actually dip a little bit, at least hopefully, because realistically, nobody's win rate should be 80 or 90%. Nobody's win rate should be 80 or 90%. And I think that's kind of just like a commentary on like the RNG nature of the game, that you can win that much. You can just win that much. And I think it puts a unrealistic expectation on a lot of players that they should be winning 80 to 90% of the games, especially I feel like on the killer side of things, it's especially a pain point because most people see it as the more stressful role, that if they're losing like 40% of their games, it feels bad and it feels crappy and it feels like things are wrong. But realistically, like, MMR should be kind of throwing you matches that sometimes you do well with, sometimes it's a blowout and you have an easy game, and then other times you have a really challenging game where you get 4-outed. You shouldn't be winning 80 or 90% of your games. You should be eating a significant, not a super significant, but like a moderate amount of losses, because that's just how a good MMR works. Is sometimes you get, you know, more breezy games, and other times you get like people that are like on your caliber and push you to your limit. But this kind of paints this like ugly picture of Dead by Daylight, that is like the new goal, right? That is the thing that we pursue, is that 80 to 90% win rate. Like that is the new goal. That is the new thing we want to go after. And when we don't achieve these things that we see on like a streamer's stream, which they shouldn't even be doing it either, but hopefully I made that clear. And when we see that on a streamer's stream, it's like, oh, okay, well, they have an 80 to 90% win rate, and I'm only winning like 60, 50% of the time. This is bad. MMR is bad. Perks are bad. The game is awful. Like it's kind of just like snowballs and everything else. But it really starts up at this idea of like, I'm not winning as much as like an 80, 90% win rate, so things must be wrong. The game must be garbage. Things must be super unbalanced. Things must be super bad, which is not the case. And the fact that DBD has even allowed this to happen and allowed it to happen as long as it has is not particularly a good thing, and kind of shows how, you know, this the community has taken this a very, very wrong direction. Because in other games, this is not realistic. Other games with MMR, unless the MMR system is freaking terrible, you're not supposed to be being able to just blow through and only lose like 10% of your games. That's just not realistic. That's not how MMR should work. And not even just MMR, but I would say like just any sort of versus game in general. You should not be blowing through 80 to 90% of your games and just kind of going, yeah, this is fine. That's not realistic, and that's not something that you should see as a goal. So I guess it's just, I don't know. It's not even like this video is made to tell people to stop doing that, because nobody's going to listen, right? Because I say this a lot on stream, is like, winning never goes out of style. You're never going to be able to convince gamers to not want to win. That's just how it is. like I have, and this is a video I'll probably make later this week. It's like, I'm going to talk about why I still enjoy DBD, why I enjoy playing it so much, why I put so many hours into it. And it's like, I don't get that burnout that we talk about a lot. And it has to do with the fact that I don't have victory as like the only thing in my brain. But I know for a lot of people, both survivor and killer, victory is the only thing that matters. And not only victory, but having victory at that such intensely high of a frequency. I think it's an unrealistic expectation. And I think when people get caught up in that, it causes them unnecessary misery, which just sucks. And I just wish it was like a mentality that the DBD community did not have, because I feel like it over exaggerates the problems in the game because of an unrealistic expectation that should not be achievable. It should not be something that's happening, and it's not something you should be going for. So if I had like a TLDR, like just any sort of advice, it's like, understand that there's more to this game than winning. And just because some people are able to pull off like an 80 to 90% win rate does not mean that should be your goal, and that should be something that like you believe is something that's realistic and a constant that you should have all the time. And you should focus on other things like, you know, running funny perks, or trying new add-ons, or trying a new character that's like, you know, fun but a little bit more difficult. Try to have other goals besides just trying to achieve a super high win rate and then, you know, complaining and breaking down the game and, you know, over analyzing it because you're not getting this super unrealistic win rate. So yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think this is a mentality you've seen out in the community, and how do you feel about it? Let me know down in the comments below. But that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, friends. I will see you tomorrow though, but if I do not, I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.